In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. I'm Vicky Fraser, your host, and this is Joe Fraser, also a host.
Kind of. Hello.
Hello.
Smooth.
Yeah, I thought so. So this week we're drinking Damson Gin. Homemade Cedar Tree Farm Damson Gin.
We didn't distill the gin, though.
No.
We bought the cheapest gin we could find.
No, that's not true. It wasn't the stripy Sainsbury's own gin.
Wasn't far off.
It was Sainsbury's very high quality London gin. But it's made really nice damsons. Well, the damsons have made really nice damson gin.
It does. It's nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, right. Yeah, we need gin after today, frankly, because we are still in the process of buying a house and sorting mortgages out. And today was like, oh my God, because I spoke to the mortgage company and they said, oh yeah, you just need to find another £11,000. And now. And we were like, oh shit, which is, it's doable. But anyway, we've got some amazing mortgage broker on the case and it might all be fine. I mean, it'll all be fine anyway.
It will all be fine. We could just find the money if we really had to, but we might just be eating beans for the next few months.
We will be living in the town of Beans Upon Toast.
Yes.
Anyway, so this week we're talking about anti-language because I read this really cool article last week, wasn't it? About...
Yes.
Well, I made you read it.
You did?
Yeah. About Polari, which is... do you remember Will-o'-the-Wisp?
Yes. Kenneth Williams and all that.
Oh, matron. Was that Kenneth Williams?
That wasn't Will-o'-the-Wisp. That was...
No, it obviously wasn't Will-o'-the-Wisp.
Will-o'-the-Wisp was a children's programme.
Yes, it was. With Evil Edna.
Yes.
Yeah, Will-o'-the-Wisp was ace.
But the matron stuff was the Carry On films.
Yeah, but that was Kenneth Williams, right?
He was in both Will-o'-the-Wisp and many Carry On films, yes.
And he did the matron thing.
Was that not Frankie Howard?
Oh, possibly. Anyway, but Frankie Howard talked using the Polari. Anyway, way back in the day, in the 1950s, Kenneth Williams and his colleagues brought into respectable middle-class living rooms gay slang.
Gay slang.
Which is awesome. And he did it through the medium of Polari, which is an anti-language. And this article was about anti-language, and it was really, really interesting because, and really amusingly...
Is there a link on the website?
Oh, I could put a link on. Yeah, I will. I'll put a link on the podcast website.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, Joe.
Yeah. Cheers.
I'll put a link to the website, to the article on the website. Anyway, so Kenneth Williams, well, Polari had been a language and it flourished between, well, just after Oscar Wilde's trial.
All right.
Because history fans, I'm a massive fan of Oscar Wilde. I love his stuff. And in case you don't know much about Oscar Wilde, he got arrested and imprisoned for being gay.
Was he not messing around with the Marquess of Queensberry's son?
Well, possibly. He had a very close friendship with somebody important.
Marquess of Queensberry, the boxing fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't such a gentle character.
No.
Anyway. Took him to court.
Oscar Wilde went to prison. If you ever read any of, not transcripts, because I didn't do transcripts back then, but the accounts of his trial, Oscar Wilde is hilarious, and I'm actually surprised that he didn't get punched repeatedly because he was so rude to people. He was rude to stupid people, which I think is okay, but...
Yeah.
Anyway, after his trial, Polari became quite popular because gay men wanted to be able to talk to each other without being put in prison, which is understandable and reasonable, really. So between his trial up to about 1967, when the Sexual Offences Act came in, it was very popular. And then Kenneth Williams popularised it again, particularly during his radio show, which was hilariously called Round the Horn, which just makes me giggle like a schoolgirl, really, because it's funny. So yeah, the characters would come on and say stuff like, "Why, it's Mr. Horn. How boner to Vader your dolly old eek again," which pretty much sounds like gibberish, and most people wouldn't have understood it except
for those in the know.
Yeah, except for those in the know, and everybody else would have just thought it was saucy gibberish. And actually what that means is how good it is to see your pretty old face again, really.
Mm-hmm. It kind of sounds like what it says.
It kind of does, yeah. But if you're, I think back in the day, people were quite naive about stuff that was on telly, because they would never have thought the good old Beeb would have put, this horrific gay slang on the telly box or on the radio box.
So is this the point where it was all? I mean, not the BBC obviously, but I mean clearly Oscar Wilde with the whole illegality thing, which is ridiculous in itself. But hey ho, thankfully we're past there now. But with the Frankie Howerd and all of that lot, were they breaking the law?
No, well, in the 50s they were, yeah.
Was it in the 50s? When did they repeal it?
I think that's the 1967 Sexual Offences Act.
Okay.
I think. But yeah, even if they weren't breaking the law, they still, I guess...
Yeah, it's still pretty risky stuff.
It was pretty risky stuff to do. But there are secret languages all over the place, and you, dear listener, you probably hear them all over the place now. In fact, you do. If ever you hear teenagers talking and you think they're talking nonsense, then they're probably not talking nonsense. It's just that you're probably listening to a secret anti-language, because there's loads of them. Cockney rhyming slang is one. Going up the apples and pears.
Does anybody really talk like that?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah, but we do talk like that though, because you having a word in your shell like, and that's not strictly speaking Cockney rhyming slang. But and I've heard people say without a trace of irony, "Do you Adam and Eve it?"
Really?
Yeah, I think they may be Mockneys though.
Sounds like it.
But no, Cockney rhyming slang was actually a thing.
Yeah, sure.
And I love it. It just makes me laugh. I think it's great. But then there's other languages. There's thieves and outlaws spoke a secret language called cant, C-A-N-T, which was designed so that they could tell each other about hot prospects, I guess, without the authorities knowing what was going on.
Communicate in pubs without getting arrested.
Yeah, put your chocolate cake in your Penelope. They're words that I've just strung together that I think if I put them together in a proper order would have meant something to a thief. But there's like marks on pavements, isn't there? Outside people's...
So they say, like
tramp marks.
Tramp marks, yeah. There was a similar thing back in the day when the Wi-Fi was new, and it was called something really silly like war driving, which was when you stuck your laptop in your car and you covered lots of ground looking for Wi-Fi networks. And then there was a specific set of chalk marks that would be on walls and pavements and things that meant there's unsecured Wi-Fi here. You can get on the internet for free.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
But that would be based on the vagrant marks then, wouldn't it? Because there'd be like little marks on gates and things that say sort of this person is friendly and they'll give you a cup of tea, and don't go to this door because there's an angry dog and the people here are mean and these people go away a lot and, you could steal from them.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying that all vagrants are thieves, because they're not at all, but
yeah, it's just communicating something to a specific set of people, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not common knowledge.
Yeah. And it's really cool. And kids do it as well. So did you have a secret language when you were a kid? Because Joe's the youngest of 6, in case you didn't know. And I can't imagine that they went through their childhood without...
There were secret languages, but being the youngest, I was very put upon, and the secret languages were done by other people, and I was just outside, crying on my own.
And this is a perfect illustration of what the point of this podcast is, actually, that we'll get to in a bit. But these secret languages are all about in-groups. They're all about communicating with specific groups of people. And, slaves had specific languages that they would use to communicate with other slaves. And, in a similar way to how gay men would communicate because they didn't want to be punched or whatever. Or, put in prison. And so we had a secret language. So poor Joe doesn't remember his secret languages. He was just on the outside.
I was just a victim of the secret languages.
Yeah, but me and my brother and our friends used backslang, which is just saying words backwards, really. And
okay.
Yeah, so it's called backslang. And some of the Polari was backslang. And it was drawn from all kinds of interesting languages. It was drawn from Yiddish and Cockney rhyming slang and Pig Latin and lingua franca, which I'm going to have to do a little bit more research into, because that's kind of just a made-up language that people could communicate in around the Mediterranean.
Okay.
Anyway, so we use backslang and also obby-dobby. Do you remember obby-dobby?
No.
No. So obby-dobby would be like, okay, this is obby-dobby. We're welcome to Bo Dobby Bob Business Fobble Sabupa Hobbyros. Shobbo. It was basically sticking the word ob in front of words that start with a vowel and after the consonant when they started with a consonant.
Right. Cool.
So if you got fluent in it, you could have conversations that to grown-ups would just sound like gobbledygook, but kids would be able to understand. There's loads of little secret languages out there. There's a whole language based on putting izzle at the end of stuff. Fishes on my nizzle.
Not just you.
Not just me, no. We have languages now as well, because I remember one of the text messages that you sent to me not long after we started going out, and I'd asked you if you could go to Sainsbury's on the way home, and you replied to that text with, "What the fuck is a Sainsbury's?" And Sainsbury's is short for Sainsbury's. And you know that now.
Well, it is now.
It is now, yeah. But before, I just loved that. That was one of my favourite texts ever from you. Just said, "What the fuck is a Sainzer?" Anyway, so we call the cats weasels. Mm-hmm. And when Noodle's feeling particularly lovey-dovey, he has the turbo cuddles.
He does.
And what else do we say? Oh, we put Tron on the end of quite a lot of stuff.
You put Tron on the end of quite a lot of stuff.
Well, you know. But the point about this is we sound like lunatics to quite a lot of people, but it's just our own secret language, and other people, you know, you'll probably have words that you use in your household that other people won't understand. So a lot of people have words for like the remote control. We used to call it the button.
Doofer.
The doofer. Is it the doofer? Okay. I was trying to think of a load of examples because we do use lots of funny words that other people wouldn't understand. But when I was actually trying to think of them, I couldn't think of any except for Tron.
Everything's a Tron.
Everything's a Tron.
Anyway.
Noodletron. So yeah, there you go. So I would like you, dear listener, to consider this. How many people do you know who genuinely, honestly, truthfully, with no trace of irony, say things like, "We're solutions driven and we always aim to take things to the next level"? And how many of your clients want to be incentivized? Here's a hint, none of them do. And how many of your clients want you to action something for them? Here's a hint, none of them do. No.
None of them.
None of them. And, well, if they're a dickhead, they might, I suppose.
They might. If they... Yeah, it's like projecting some kind of self-image thing, isn't it? It's really bad.
Yeah.
Bad language.
People do it to make themselves... Like, utilise. I can't stand it when people say utilise. It's just like, just fucking say use.
In the house world, the language that estate agents use when they're describing houses. Oh my God. The accommodation comprises...
Oh, sometimes they say comprises of, which is one of those things that really winds me up.
Sorry, Kat is just looking very interested in Vicky's gin, and now she's coming to have a look at my gin. No gin. No gin for the cat.
So yeah, have a think. Seriously, have a think and about how people use language. People in your target market. If you're a copywriter, you need to pay particular attention to how your clients, customers, talk. And if you're a business owner, well, if you're any type of a business owner, you need to pay attention to how. If I was going to try and attract estate agents as a copywriter, then I might say comprise of and the
my product offering comprises of.
But even then I wouldn't, because when you talk to an estate agent in real life, they actually sound like people, and they don't talk like that.
Why do they do it?
I don't know. I think it's insecurity. Because they know people hate them, which, by the way, is really unfair, because all of the estate agents that we've dealt with buying our house have been nothing less than superb, have they?
Yeah,
they've been really, really good. So be nicer to estate agents, people. I think they get all insecure, and then they use words like accommodation comprises of, and they misuse other words, and it's just they don't need to. Don't make them do it.
Yes, in need of renovation. In need of updating generally means it hasn't got a roof.
Shithole. Oh my God, okay, so go and find a really good book called Brothel in Pimlico, which was written by a guy who wrote really honest estate agent reviews, and it's really funny because if the place was actually falling down, he'd be like, and he was more polite than me because this was in an age where people swore less, but he would say things like, "This place is a shithole and it's falling down. In fact, I'll go and get it and read one out."
Amuse yourself for just a moment whilst Vicky rummages on the bookshelf.
Okay, so it's Brothel in Pimlico by Roy Brooks. I'm going off on a slight tangent here, but I think it's worth it. So, well-decorated poet and soldier and alleged female spy offer their desirable family residence off Putney Hill as they are going to live in a kiln. Drawing room doors to rather lovely garden, well stocked with fruits and lilies of the valley. Big study, somewhat gloomy dining room, big warm bathroom, kitchen, 5 bedrooms, gift at £5,990 freehold. That price will give you a clue as to when this book was written, by the way.
Yeah, 5 bedrooms, Pimlico. Sounds great.
Yeah, can you imagine? It'd be more like 5 million now. But that's the kind of thing that that he wrote, and I'm going to get sidetracked, so I'm going to put it down. But he spoke in the language of the people who he was trying to sell his houses to. And he was truthful about it, and it wasn't like in need of some renovation. It was like, this place is a crap hole and it needs sorting out, or the roof's falling off, or this place used to be a brothel, which is where the title of the book came from. So go and listen to your clients, basically. Listen to how they talk to each other and how they think. And this is really important because English people think in English and Japanese people think in Japanese, and car mechanics think in terms of car parts, and vision engineers think like robots.
Easy. Harsh.
It's true, though.
I did a robot vision thing just this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
And you were thinking in terms of
robots.
And
targeting.
And targeting.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It was like most of the work I do, I'm stood in a factory with my laptop balanced on, if I'm lucky, a wheelie bin.
Health and safety.
With, 100 decibels of pot noodles or whatever it is crashing around me.
Other potted snacks are available.
But this was great because it was in an office and I had a table and a chair. A chair! Can you imagine? An engineer with a chair. It was brilliant. So I sat down and did some stuff. It was the nicest day I've had in ages. Sorry, carry on.
That's a little bit tragic. That's okay. So I've completely okay. So yeah, think about how your target audience is going to talk. Think about how they think, because new grandmas think in baby speak. They're like, "Oh, he's a cute little boy," and also people who own cats.
They talk like that.
That's how they think as well. I don't do that. And, I'm a circus performer sometimes, and I'm often, whenever I see something, I think, oh, how could my body do that? What will work, and how can I do that trick, and how does that trick work? And that person's walking really strangely, and, it's you've got to get into your...
And why has that person got rope burns all over them?
Yeah. Yeah, if you ever see somebody... Because this is really funny, because when I first... Well, not when I first started, but when you learn a new move in pole or circus, you end up covered in bruises, because you do. Because, you end up bashed and you fall off things and the equipment's hard. And and I remember walking around in summer once in, shorts and a vest top, and somebody actually stopped me and said, "Are you okay? Do you need help to get away from somebody?" Because I was absolutely covered in bruises and I did look like I'd been battered. And that's not at all funny.
No.
But it kind of amused me.
And you had a massage as well, same kind of thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the first time I had a sports massage, my sports massage guy, who's awesome, was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, yeah, I'm a circus performer. He's like, "Oh, okay, then fine," because he works with ballerinas and people like that. So anyway, but yeah, my point with all this is think about how people think and the language they use and how it comes into everyday speech as well. So if, for example, your ideal customer was a surfer dude or a skateboarder, then there's a very specific language that these people use, even outside of the surfing and the skating, because gnarly is a surfing term, isn't it? And dude, yeah. But yeah, everybody says dude now. But it started off as a kind of surfing term, and gnarly was a snowboarding term, wasn't it?
Don't ask me.
You snowboarded a bit.
I bought a cheap snowboard on eBay and fell off it a lot, but that doesn't make me a snowboarder.
Okay. But you are aware of the fact that people in these groups have their languages.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And their vocabularies and their dialects, and it spills over, and if you listen to it, you can use it, and don't sound like a dick, because you have to be careful about how you do it. You don't want to just kind of dive in and go, "Oh, this is really gnarly, what?"
I say, old chap.
I say, old chap. Should we go over here and hang 10?
Yeah, no.
I've surfed a few times and that's it. I don't have the language down.
You do not?
No.
You don't really have the surfing down either.
How very dare you? I was very good.
Yeah, you were.
I didn't siphon half of the Pacific Ocean through my head like you.
I'm pretty much sure I did sluice the Pacific Ocean through my sinuses.
Anyway, so go and listen to people and integrate and really listen. Don't try and join in the conversation, but go and listen to how your target audience are talking. Hang out in the chat rooms they hang out in. Do chat rooms still exist? Forums, wherever. Join the social media groups. Listen to them. And then you can start using the language, not in a kind of douchey way, but pick up the phrases that they use to describe their problems and their pain and couch your marketing in those terms. Use the words that they use because that's what's going to resonate with them. You will become, instead of being an outsider trying to push your wares on them. You'll become somebody who's part of the group, who understands them and who understands their pain and their problem. It's a really powerful thing. And if you're in any doubt at all as to how powerful it is, I'm going to give you 2 examples. Starbucks is the first one. I remember when I first went into a Starbucks, I didn't have a fucking clue what they were talking about.
Yeah, you kind of want a coffee. Can I have a coffee, please? My parents still do that.
Yeah.
Walk in Starbucks and ask for a coffee.
I deliberately do it because I'm an arse. But yeah, you kind of go in there. But they're talking about like grandes and talls and venti half calf vanilla latte.
Skinny,
yeah.
Skinny half calf latte.
And, you go in and it does sound like they're talking a different language if you'd never been there before. And it's a risky thing to do if you're a small business that's growing, because to create a language like that is a risky thing to do. But it works for Starbucks because their diehard fans love them. And, I like Starbucks as well. I've mocked them a little bit, but I don't think Starbucks is evil. But they've built this language that their customers use and will love. And it's like a tribal thing. And, they didn't just get big because they created their own language, but they've become this global force from one coffee shop. They've become this global force, partly because they've built this tribe of people. It's really important, and language is incredibly important for building a tribe.
Yeah, so that's rather than kind of learning the tribe's language to fit in, they've created a tribe.
Yeah, which, by the way, I'm not suggesting you do that, because that's a crazy thing to do, and it just takes too long for people to learn it. Once you've got to the size of Starbucks, then you can start kind of feeding that thing in. But another really powerful example of building your tribe and listening to people and what they care about is Donald Trump. He is an odious Oompa Loompa, but by God, he's an amazing marketer. I mean, who is he? He's a bloody reality TV star and golf club owner and resort owner he's in the serious running for president of the United States, which is a little bit horrifying, but but it's also really, well, I'm not going to get into a debate about Donald Trump, but it's really impressive when you think about what he's done and accomplished. And, he's got no background in politics. All he's done is he's listened to people. He's listened to the people on the far right who aren't very bright. Actually, that's not even true. It's not that they're stupid. I don't think a lot of them are stupid, but it's not even that they're stupid. It's because he's listened to the things that they're worried about and that they're frightened about, and he's played on those fears. And this, by the way, is what people like David Avocado fucking Wolf do as well. They listen to what people are worried about, and then they prey on those fears, and they extract money from people. And Donald Trump has done the same thing, but they're both very savvy marketers, these people are.
Yeah. They know who they're after.
They know who they're after, and that's how they make their money. But they do it through lying, and they are lying, but they're including just enough truth in their lies. Just enough truth to make them sound credible to the people that are frightened that they are trying to persuade, in Trump's case, to vote for him. And in David Wolf's case, to buy his overpriced supplementary shit. Some of it probably is literally shit.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Listen, if you want to get better at marketing, watch what Donald Trump is doing. In all seriousness, watch what he's doing. Watch what he's done with his campaigns, how he interacts with his tribe, because they are his tribe. It's not only horrifyingly kind of fascinating, it's also a really good marketing lesson. And you could do very well as well by watching how televangelists extract billions of dollars out of vulnerable, frightened, credulous people.
Here at Business for Superheroes, we're not advocating bending the jelly brains for your own nefarious purposes. We're not hollowing out volcanoes over here, kind of.
No, not at all. But that's the point. My point is that there are people using these powers for evil. And I'm suggesting, look at what they're doing and how they're doing it. Because there's nothing...
Fight them.
Yeah, fight them. But also, use your power. Because I'm assuming that everybody that's listening to this podcast is not an evil villain and has got a good product that is going to help people solve a problem.
If you are an evil villain, stop listening now.
Yeah, stop it. And stop being evil.
Yeah. Be nice.
Yeah. But if you are a good person and you've got a good product, and I would hope you do, then look at the techniques that people like Donald Trump and, these other shady marketers are using, because they're very, very good at what they do. And there's a lot to be learned there. And I don't subscribe to this belief that because somebody is bad, you can't learn anything from them. That's bollocks. You can learn plenty from bad people, and if nothing else, how not to live your life. But look at the successful people who have done bad things and see what they've accomplished. Televangelists, by the way, are a great topic to study. Not just because it will just make you go, oh my God, what's wrong with these people, and oh my God, why are they so orange? Because they all are. Anyway, but also because they are extremely talented at extracting a shitload of money from people.
Horrible.
It's epic business. It is horrible. There's a really good Late show about televangelism.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's really, really good. What's his name? John?
I don't know.
Yeah, anyway, just look at the Late Show televangelism episode, because it's a real eye-opener. The guy started his own religion because you can.
And then started using the same techniques just to extract money from people. And it worked. It's horrible.
Yeah. So there you go. Really, this entire podcast is probably going to get me landed in jail after what I've said about David Avocado Wolf. I'm not for a second suggesting that Wolf is doing anything illegal, but he is definitely doing some immoral stuff. I've got no problem saying that. And yeah, if you want to sell stuff. If you want to sell stuff, learn the language of the people that you're selling to. Get in there, listen to them. Listen to the words they're using, listen to the phrases they're using, listen to how they're describing their pain and their problem, and listen to the dialect they use, and then, couch your marketing in those terms. Have you got this problem? Here's your problem. I understand your problem. This is how I'm going to solve it for you. It's, I'm not saying be fake at all. This is all about building relationships, and you should be wanting to insinuate yourself into this tribe of people that you want to sell to, because you will serve them better if you do. You'll understand them better. So there you go. This has been a bit of a longer podcast. I was going to talk about aspirin and everything, but I couldn't find the story in the end, so I'm not going to bother now.
Okay.
I might talk about that another time. Ask me about aspirin another time.
I will ask you about aspirin at some random point in a future podcast and watch you flap your gums.
Excellent. Thanks for that. Cool. So next podcast is going to be same time next week. I'm going to be talking about the enduring stupidity of marketing budgets and why you shouldn't have a marketing budget or anything resembling a marketing budget.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And what's my call to action going to be for this one? Go buy my book.
Buy the book. Yeah,
buy my book.
Or
businessforsuperheroes.com. It's a good book. I've been on bloody Goodreads. Somebody has rated and reviewed my book on Goodreads and given it 5 stars. And it's really exciting because, unlike Amazon, where everybody gets 5 stars if they're just okay, on Goodreads it's a reader-based thing. So if people think you're really good, they'll give you 3 stars. And that's a really good rating on Goodreads. So if you get 5 stars, it means you're freaking amazing. And I've only got 1 so far, so I'm not going to let my head get too big about this. But it made me smile.
It's nice.
Yeah. So if you've read my book, if you could go and review it on Goodreads, that'd be great. And if you could not give it 1 star, that'd be awesome. But if you really think it was shit, then give it 1 star and tell me why. But buy my book and then review it, please. I would really like that.
Cool.
Businessforsuperheroes.com. Really appreciate you guys listening.
Yeah, we had like 800 people or something the other day.
Yeah, that's so exciting. That's why we're drinking gin right now.
Crazy. Didn't actually think anyone was listening to this stuff.
No, we just do it because it's fun.
Get slightly drunk, chat. It's all right.
So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Really do appreciate it. And we will be back next week.
Yeah.
Ta-ta.
See ya.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.